Hi everyone, Piet and Grade here from the Purple House Wellness Center in 4th in Tasmania, and welcome back to our weekly health talk or health tips. Every Tuesday this time we discuss a topic that's close to our heart, and today we want to focus on inflammation or in-flam-ageing. So inflammation has the word flame in it, and because it actually means that some parts of your body are literally on fire, and inflammation also really speeds up the aging process. There are many forms of inflammation we want to talk about today, just to break it down for you a little bit so you know the early warning signs. And also there is a direct link between inflammation and cancer. And
often if we wake up and we've got a sore spot on our body, that's indicating that there's some inflammation there. And quite often we go to see someone about that specific little bit of sore point in our body, not realising that that inflammation is actually spread right throughout the body, not just that one little bit.
No, for instance, if you wake up with like a sore finger, let's illustrate it a bit, then you just go, oh, my index is a bit sore today. Well,
a bit swollen and red.
And so it's a bit stiff or gout or something like that. But actually it means it's not just in your finger, it literally means inflammation is already right through your body, affecting every cell of your body.
Yeah, and it's aging or putting on inflaming, which is your whole system is on fire, and you get the immune system then gets into action to try and dampen that fire, extinguishing it by stimulating the white cells to come and fight that inflammation. And it's the cytokines get stirred up to start putting out the fire and stimulate the white cells to go there, and that's what causes the swelling and the redness. The blood goes there. When a sports person is injured, often the team will come out and they'll put ice and a firm bandage, and they'll lift it up and get the player to rest it. And what they're doing is they are preventing the blood to go there to do the healing. The blood carries all those white cells and
carries the fire brigade.
Carries the fire brigade. Yeah, it'll stop swelling and whatever and get the person back on the sports field quickly, but in the long run, that person their joint, whatever was affected, will give them long-term inflammation because it hasn't been healed properly.
It's called short-term gain. Long-term pain. Yeah, we do see that actually because.
So I personally totally disagree with the rice treatment because you'll end up with arthritic knees or whatever places that you're injured.
That's what we see every day in our clients. People come to us with sore joints. And then it's due to football injuries or due to sporting injuries, and the healing process was interrupted. It was shortened, and
it wasn't allowed.
No, it wasn't
in the
allowed
first place.
to happen. So so these people have a lot of pain in their body. So the inflammation stage will happen. It's delayed, right, rather than suffering in the first place.
So injury is one form that will cause inflammation. Then you have infections, but infections we call bacteria cause infections, but the bacteria are just doing their job cleaning up tissue that we've allowed to become
infected,
unviable. We've had toxins floating around our system that have caused cells to become unhealthy, and in go bacteria that are scavengers actually.
They go
and clean up dead and dying tissue
for us.
And they're taking us back to the dust before we actually die, which probably isn't a good thing, but they're just doing their job. If we keep our system nice and clean and free of toxins and inflammation and whatever, then those bacteria won't harm us. But those bacteria do cause inflammation.
So bacteria cause inflammation, and sometimes You do need to go on antibiotics, by the way, because antibiotics save lives. Right?
They've saved lives, but they haven't created good health.
No, so everything needs to be used with discretion. For instance, people used to die from pneumonia. Pneumonia killed lots of people, right? Whereas now, when you have pneumonia, you can take antibiotics and you don't die from it, hopefully. But that doesn't mean that it still means your body is seriously affected by something that you need to look at the root cause. So when clients come to us, they've often already suffered a lot of pain and a lot of mishaps and all the rest, and we have to get them back on track. So, but luckily, the good thing is your body heals much faster than the time it took for a disease to be created. So I'm going off track a little bit now, but I just want to mention that. So it takes our body decades often to create cancer or to create arthritis or migraines or whatever. They don't just happen overnight. So, but when you come to us for a healing session, we can reverse that process very, very quickly. So like we can probably clear 10 years of bad lifestyle, or 20 years, or sometimes 50 years in 1 or 2 sessions, because our body is geared towards health and we just need to give it what it needs.
And we also teach you ways to cut down that inflammation in your body, because inflammation is at the base of every disease.
It's like an umbrella, like cancer is inflammation.
Including cancer.
Something even like acne is inflammation, right? Psoriasis, eczema is inflammation. Arthritis.
Any aches and pains. Diabetes.
So I've put I've written a post. You can take your time and read it. Make a cup of herbal tea, sit down and read what inflammation is all about. But Peter, I want you to know that if you have inflammation anywhere in your body, you are aging a lot faster than Mother Nature intended. So that's the process that needs to be stopped. You need to come to us for help, preferably. That's really, or start taking some enzymes and stuff up. So I'll talk about that in a minute.
About 7 or 8 years ago, I was taking things. I prided myself in being able to bend over and touch the floor most of my life, through my 20s and 30s, just with my fingertips, even with really tight hamstrings. And I cut out the foods that caused inflammation, which are high starch carbs, sugars, polyunsaturated oils, and the sugar of fruit. And I started getting my energy from the other fuel source, which is the good fats. Plus I had beet flow to keep my bile flow going, so I'd digest it well, and enzymes to help break down every type of food, so I'd get the goodies from the food. And over a 6-month period, I went eating lots of good food. I went from 72 to 64 kilograms.
Eating a packet of butter a day.
And instead of just being able to touch my fingertips on the floor, I touched that on the floor, bending straight over, with tight hamstrings. They haven't got any.
Yeah, that's right, because the Robertsons are known for being very inflexible in their body.
So the inflammation actually went out of my backbone, so I could bend further. And there's a saying that for every inch you can't touch the floor. So when the floor is like there and you're here, you lose 7 years of your life. I don't know if that's true or not, but it's all interesting. All these kind of tales come from somewhere. They do have a grain of truth in them. So yeah, test yourself for your own flexibility. Like even Peter and his gene pool are not very flexible, but he totally improved, didn't you, Pete? And some of our children who have this. But I still can't get any yoga, cross-legged yoga pose. But
some things will always be impossible. And so I also wanted to say, when I was hit by a truck in 2006 and was left with like so many broken bones, broken spine, smashed sacrum, everything was pretty well smashed. My whole body felt that it was on fire. Like on top of the pain that I had from all my broken bones, I was in excruciating pain. The worst thing for me was that I just felt so parched. I honestly felt like my whole body was cooking non-stop because there were so many breaks and broken tissue everywhere as well, and internal bleeding and all the rest. And my body actually just rallied to the challenge. I mean, that was a huge challenge. And I was just parched. I used to ask Pete for water non-stop, and please give me some sips of water. I actually wasn't allowed to drink because they were waiting for me to operate for 6 days. So I was constantly asking Pete, put some water in my mouth. And so my whole body was literally on fire, which meant like all the fire trucks, fire engines, even the ones on standby, even the ones who hadn't been made yet, they were going to work in the body. So just to get back to the injuries that athletes have. So I spent long enough time healing my body, right? I didn't short circuit anything, if I make myself clear. So I was lying flat on my back pretty well for 12 weeks, which gave my body a chance to rest, relax as much as I could with that amount of pain, and heal. Because if we're moving too quickly, the body can't heal, right? The interrupt. So I'm really, really good now. I don't have much pain in my body at all, whereas other people would have sustained my type of injuries, would probably be in a wheelchair now, or they wouldn't even be walking, or they would be walking with a walker. And I have no such a thing because I knew what to do, if that makes any sense. I sent my body, so it's not my brain that does the healing. I just had to get myself out of the way and let my body do the healing and tune into my body. So what are some of the things then? We go back to the inflammation, because inflammation kills millions of people on the planet every day. So we have an infection, an irritation. So chronic irritation will also create inflammation, right? Injuries, what Peter already said, overconsumption of carbohydrates, grains, too many grains. So you've probably heard of grain brain or grain belly, wheat belly. They all cause a lot of swelling and inflammation in your body. Genetically modified foods like soy products and corn, and anything made from corn. Corn is in just about everything, isn't it, Pete?
And canola oil.
It's just about in everything. So when you go out to a restaurant, it doesn't matter if it's like a very expensive restaurant or expensive meal, they would still be using all the wrong oils. So if you eat out a lot, you're just filling your body with inflammatory products.
Transfats.
So what Peter already said, viruses and bacteria, and then parasites are something that's not acknowledged by many people, but parasites are really the bottom line, aren't they? They're the foundation of every disease. Like, remove the parasite and your body gets a chance to heal. Parasites are worms. Some people don't know what parasites are. So they're worms that are in your intestines or in your digestive tract. But worms can literally travel to every part of your body. They can be in your brain, in your nervous system, behind your eyeballs, in your ears. It's horrible, isn't it?
And they have a lot of toxins associated with them that cause our bodies to be inflamed.
That's right. They're often more allergic to the stuff that they excrete into the bloodstream. So they eat us and then they excrete toxins back into the bloodstream. And that's causing a lot of pain. And people can even go crazy as well from worms. It can affect their mind. So like worms, we suggest that you have something like a really good herbal product like Parafite. So the worms run away from that, okay? But it actually meant to kill the worms. So usually we suggest one individual finishes one whole bottle.
And diatomaceous earth, it gets rid of the worms in the intestines, in the gut.
And that's right. It's also really healing for your body.
And it's very safe, and it also cleans the gut and helps our intestinal system get rid of heavy metals and toxins from the intestines.
So we sell that online, so you can check it in our shop, or you can call in and get it.
Any toxins, heavy metals and toxins, they're causing inflammation as well. So the key thing, if you think of fire and you think of flames, you want to extinguish the flames, what do? Put water on it.
That's right. So actually everyone is chronically dehydrated. Pretty much everyone. And we can tell that because we look at people's blood on the microscope. You can see my microscope behind me, right? So you see that the blood cells are all clumped together. So what happens is most people drink enough water to survive, so the cells are not dying, right? But they're not fully alive either. And the toxins never get flushed out of the cells. So just think, any inflammation literally means your body has been in a drought for too long and you need deep watering, don't you? But maybe not all at once, but definitely consistently drinking water with the minerals in it. So the Himalayan salt helps the water to go into the cells.
Yeah.
And it's also slightly alkalizing. So when your cells are dehydrated, they often become more acidified because of the toxins. And so the salt water helps to balance your pH level. So, so Peter talked about beach flow. Do you want to talk about that a little bit? Beach flow is really great, actually.
Well, that helps the body's detoxification organ, the liver, get rid of the waste out of the body properly. And we need that waste to go from the body, filtered by the liver, out into the small intestine to digest the good fats to get our fuel from, because those good fats don't cause inflammation. So we need to... But
you need to be able to digest them, don't you?
Yeah, so the bile flowing from the liver, which is the waste from the body, that's what digests the fats and neutralises the stomach acid. That if that isn't neutralised properly, then it'll cause inflammation in the bowel.
That's
so
right.
Any inflammatory bowel disorder is often caused through the acid burning the bowel due to the bile not neutralising the acid, and that beet flow gets that bile flow to happen properly.
Yeah, so it's like the fire brigades go into the fire engines go into the small bowel and large bowel and extinguish the fire, which actually also helps with adrenal fatigue. I just want to do a little side tour here. People often get adrenal fatigue because of issues with their digestion, right? And then finally, the adrenals are like your bank account. You emptied your bank account and you've been running on credit card energy, literally, which is your adrenals, for too long, and suddenly there is nothing to be found there as well. So we found with our clients, when we restore the bile flow, their adrenal fatigue goes away very, very quickly, usually no more than a month, right? And tweaking with a few healing sessions, people are back on board easily within a month, and we see this many times. So we need to just be wise with our body, give it what it needs, and the body just runs with it. So also cancer is a form of inflammation. So if you just think of cancer as a form of inflammation, it's not as scary as the big C word that people fear to mention. It's just sometimes the tissue has been irritated for too long. And then the traditional cancer treatments are adding to the inflammation as well. So whichever way you want to go with the cancer treatments, you still have to heal the inflammation. That's what Pete and I really try to tell you. So we can help you with that as well. So I read this really interesting quote that our bodies are made of 37.2 trillion cells or thereabouts. That's a lot of cells. Now, by comparison, there's only like a tiny little handful of those cells that have become cancerous. So the best thing is to look after all the 37 trillion cells of your body, rather than focus on a tiny little bit of handful that is just gone a bit crazy, right? And support your entire body rather than destroying your entire body. And I want to illustrate that with a story. So probably 10 years ago, I had a client who came to me, and Peter and I have been doing this work for 22 years now, so it might even be 12 years ago. A client came to me with very, very end stage cancer. So she had already had her breasts removed, she had liver cancer, brain tumor, lung tumor, and bone cancer.
She's been fighting it for 10 years.
Yeah, so she had 5 types of cancer. And finished, the doctors, the oncologist was finished with her, and we were last resort, so she came into my room and I gave her a healing session.
Well, they told her she only had 2 months to live.
I gave her a healing session, a very gentle healing session because she was skin and bone. And then I told her the same things that I'm telling you now, which are all in this form, right? And so she went home and did that. She took her iodine every day, so I haven't mentioned that, but it's in the form, and drank more water and just ate a little bit healthy, but she couldn't eat that much because, you know, she was pretty well wrecked. And I didn't hear from her for a few months, so I thought maybe she had died. She was living on the other end of the state, and at that point in time I didn't have the courage to ring her. If this was you now, I would give you a ring to check up on you. Anyway, I heard on the grapevine though that she'd gone on a holiday to New Zealand because she was feeling so much better, and then she came back to me 3 months later when she returned from a holiday, which was an absolute miracle because before she was literally dying, and now she was able to go on a holiday. And when she returned to me, her liver was completely cancer-free, her bones were growing, like the cancer was gone, and her bones were literally filling up the holes that were left by the tumors. And she was just on a winning, she was winning, right? And so I gave her another healing session. She went home with more products, went on the same, she found a sanctuary in the park near home because she didn't have a nice garden, so she would go. I taught her how to do some meditation and value herself, create a sanctuary for herself, and so she got stronger and stronger. And then the next thing I heard though was that her oncologist contacted her and said her results were so good now, her body was so strong and healthy, they could try this experimental chemotherapy with her, and she consented because she, I guess, still didn't believe in herself enough. And I never saw her again because she died 3 weeks later from that chemotherapy. And today that still hurts me, that story, because I knew, if, I guess to a degree, if I'd supported her more, she might still be alive today, right? So I want you to know that miracles, what we call a miracle, happen all the time, every day. I mean, it's even a miracle that you're alive today, that you're sitting here, that you're listening to me, that you're living in today's world. And you just have to start believing in your own body and trusting in your own body. That's absolute key.
It's only your immune system will cure you of any form of inflammation, including cancer. Mm-hmm. And we have to support our immune system, which 80 or 85% of the immune system actually belongs to the good intestinal bacteria. So replenishing those every day is an essential part of cutting out inflammation or anti-aging.
Well, there are many things you can do, of course. Like any problem, you have to address it, like physically. So the physical level would be to tidy up your diet and have the right supplements and so on. And then emotionally, you have to make sure that you protect yourself from like toxic people or toxic environments.
Emotions are chemicals in the blood.
That's right. And then you need to heal your childhood trauma. So that's what Pete and I specialize in, and we can do that very quickly as well. Because Pete and I know a lot of people don't have the luxury of time. I didn't have the luxury of time when I was hit by a truck. And at the time, I couldn't find the right people that could help me heal quickly. So my life, I just had to trust in my body the whole way through that I would survive. Other than, of course, Pete was a great help. And I had to become that person that I needed at the time. I've become that person now, right? So if that makes any sense, does that make sense? Anyway.
You've become it for yourself and for all your clients.
Yeah, that's right. People. I learned so much from it, and I don't shy away from.
Become the person you've been looking for all the time.
Yeah, there are many subjects that people shy away from because it's too ugly, or like childhood trauma that it's too ugly. But I don't shy away from it, and neither does Peter, by the way, because we know that's where we need to also look to release those toxic emotions from your body. So. Anyway, hope that that you find this helpful. We're going over time a little bit here, but we know that the silly season is upon us. There are going to be lots of strange situations that you're going to find yourself in stressful situations. You're going to see people that you normally don't see. You're going to eat foods that you normally don't have, and you might get sunburns. Sunburn is another form of inflammation. So I just want to set you up for a really, really great holiday season, right? And if you found this helpful, share it with your friends. Peter and I are here to help you. So I've written an article that you can read what you can do for yourself. And I've written many articles anyway about inflammation. So if you go to our website, you can just Google those keywords like cancer or asthma, whatever, or diabetes. Many articles will show up for you. So the key is knowledge is power, right? Ignorance isn't bliss. Ignorance often means illness and pain. And Pete and I are here to help you as well. So we're open every day, every Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday from 9 to 5. And all the other days you can buy products online as well. Thanks for tuning in, everyone.
Okay. Hopefully the weather will soon warm up and we can enjoy a bit of summer over our corner of the world.
Let us know what you think of today's topic and our stories, and we look forward to being with you next week. Thanks for tuning in, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.